Hey, good morning everybody. It is 7:23 and as you can see it is raining out, and we are headed to the Mecum classic car auction in Kissimmee. It's a once a year auction. This year they have a whole bunch of NASCAR vehicles there that are from the NASCAR museum, the Whitson Cup Museum up in North Carolina. They're getting auctioned off. It is Saturday morning, so the auction's already been going on for 4 days, and it's about it says we'll get there about 9:30, so it's about a 2-hour drive from here. But we're gonna head over there, and it's not supposed to be raining by the time we get there, so hopefully we'll get out of the rain a little bit. But we're gonna head there in the liquid sunshine that there is here in the state of Florida this morning, and we're gonna go check it out. There's 4,000 cars up for auction. They've already auctioned about 500 this week, so we will see what's there, check it out. There's some other events that are there, and we're gonna be doing a bunch of videos from there. There's a bunch of other channels that are there, so we may see them as well. But come along, and I will see you through the magic of video that the next time you see me, we will be 94 miles away in Kissimmee, Florida. So welcome to another episode of Junkyards and Barn Finds with Sean, and I'm Sean. All right guys, we have now driven 2 hours. It's 9:30 in the morning, and we are at the Mecum Kissimmee 2024 auto auction. It's one of the biggest ones in the country. You can watch some of this on TV if you want. They're always on TV. So all this area from way over there in those gray buildings to here is all Mecum. These are all cars that are being auctioned off. There's a couple collections here we're gonna go and check out. But we're gonna have to go through the tent first, and we'll go ahead and get into the auction, and then I'll see you once we're in. All right guys, so we are now at the Mecum auction. We're inside. You go through there, you buy your tickets, they're $34, and you can see they got everything here. They got everything from Bentleys to NASCAR and everything in between. They've got kit cars, they've got regular cars, they've got cars that are going to go for $1 million. They got cars that are going to go for a couple $1,000s. So it is a rainy day. You can see some of the cars out here. We can go and take a quick look at some of the stuff that's out here before we walk in. Okay. It's gonna be a muddy day, so I wore my cheap shoes. But we can take a look at some of this stuff while we're out here. And these are sold. These are cars that have been sold already, so you may have seen them on TV on the auction block. All right, so cars like this one, what is this? This is a 67 Ford Mustang fastback, 427 horsepower, 540. So I mean, you got cars like this, which is obviously somebody built. It is not a Shelby in any way, but I mean, look at this thing. This thing is completely radical, very cool. Interior stick shift. It's got Recaro seats, all kinds of stuff. Carroll Shelby side seats, all aluminum, 427. Very cool car. And then you'll have street rods like this. 1954 two-door. So it's got shaved handles, it's been chopped, it's been lowered. You got all kinds of cool stuff there. And then you have like this is I believe it's a 61 Impala, could be a 62, but it's a 61 Impala. Looks like it came right off the showroom floor. Let's see, which one is this? It is a 61 Impala. There you go. So it is a rainy day. We're going to come out here a little later. The rain's supposed to stop in about 2 hours, and we can come back out here and check out some of this stuff. There's a really nice Torino, and then 70, is it 70 Chevelle? But it's pro stock or pro mod, let's say that. So this is a Cobra right here. Rotisserie restoration, numbers matching 429. So Cobra Jet, 4-speed drag pack car. Beautiful car. So 429, 1970 Cobra. All right, and of course, like I said, a 1970 Chevelle, my favorite cars. There we go. All right, let's go inside. We're gonna go inside under a lot of these tents, and we're gonna go inside. First thing I'm gonna try to do is find the NASCAR collection, because I want to do that. But we'll see what we got. We're gonna be covering a lot of stuff over the next couple days. So that's a sold lot there that haven't been picked up yet. All these are still for sale. All these buildings have cars. Check this thing out. And yep, it's pouring rain. Thank God I got a GoPro. And this is a 1913 Model T bakery truck. So very, very cool. So you, like I said, there's everything here. Check that out. All right, there's a Ferrari over there. So we're gonna go inside and get out of the weather for a bit. Nice thing with Mecum is they got these guys out here getting soaking wet in golf carts that'll give you a ride somewhere. I don't think they're doing the Dodge Challenge right at the moment. We're gonna see if we can get that later today when it dries out. But we're getting a lift. Now that's where all the Ritzy Ritz car collections are, right in there, if they were from last year. So, but we're heading over to where the NASCAR ones are getting sold from the museum up in North Carolina. So, what's your first name? Keith. Keith? No, this is Keith. He's giving me a ride. So, I mean, it's still kind of convertible-ish, but it's way better than walking half a mile.
This building here.
Over there? Okay. So, and they've got some Corvettes in there. So that's one of the car collections.
Yeah.
This is the first time I ever came when it rained. So is this where I'm going in? Or, oh, we still got nothing. So if I won the Powerball, I would just come in and buy all these things and then just park them in a big garage. But you'll see everything in here, from Ford Mavericks to Galaxies to you know, the Ford GTs to Cadillacs to pickup trucks to classic cars that look perfect like they came off the showroom floor, to cars that look like they should be in a junkyard but they're worth a ton of money because they're one of one and it's the only frame left in the world. So, but you can see all the buildings and everything, even Mercedes, if you like that foreign stuff, which I know if I put any of that on the channel, you guys will just eat me alive. So I know we don't look at the foreign stuff. You can even get like little motorcycles and all kinds of stuff in here, and they got signs and all stuff for your man cave. But I just kind of come here and show you guys stuff that you'll probably never see, because remember, this is an auction. So once these things are gone, they go to private collections, like Tim's Mopar collection, Tim Wellborn up in Alabama and stuff, and then unless you go to that particular private collection or NPD's collection or something, you'll never see these cars again. So that's one of the reasons I try to come to this auction every year, is so that you guys can see cars that will pretty much disappear. There we go, the Winston Cup series. So this is where we're going.
I'm going to drive under the awning.
Oh, I appreciate it.
So you don't have to get all that water.
All right. Well, I appreciate it, Keith.
You bet. You have a good day.
You
Stay
too.
dry.
Yeah, I'd say the same, but I don't think you're going to be able to do it. Have a good day, sir. All right. So Keith just dropped this off. And so these cars here, if you watch a couple different channels, you've seen these in the actual museum. Now, I'm just gonna walk through. So all this stuff here, these are all from the Winston, I believe the Winston Cup Museum, yeah. So this is an actual 426 cubic inch. This one was raced. It didn't look like this when it was raced, but it was raced. So, listen. This is, oh yeah, so Dave Marcus, number 30 super speedway car. So if you watched a couple shows, there's been some shows on YouTube that had Dave come, and Dave verified this was his car, and he did it because he said underneath here there's a specific bar or something underneath there that told me that it was his, told him that it was his. Also, this is his seat right here. So this is set up as when it raced, except for the key. The key wasn't there. So also, when they were racing, this piece was not on the car when it was raced Winston Cup. Evidently, they weren't allowed to have this piece on here when it was on the track in Daytona. So, but this is an actual 426 Hemi Superbird that was raced, or Daytona. I'm not sure which one it is. Let's see. And when you look at some of these, you can see where what they said was this wasn't built, this wasn't a factory wing car. That when they first got this, it was not a factory wing car. They had to take this particular one over, and the people that did the wings and did the conversion on this. So while this car was not a wing car from like, you know, Dodge, Chrysler, Mopar, it actually was done by the same people. So, but it originally started with the nose, but it didn't have this, and they did all the work on the wing. So if you want to see, obviously no doors, it's got the whole floor done inside here, and that's what the steering wheel looked like. And we were told it was taped up, and told that it did have like that little soft thing. It's not a horn, but back in the day you had to be pretty small, and actually even today I'm 6'2", so 270, so I'm not going to be in one of these cars. But that was his actual seat, from what we were told that he put in. So this is the first car right here from the series, and all these are for auction. If you want to buy one of these, by the way, I believe the auction for these is next week. All right, guys, so this is the NASCAR Winston Cup series from the NASCAR Winston Cup Museum in North Carolina that's getting auctioned off. So this tent has a lot of the cars. There are some others that are in some of the other tents. As you can see, there's this tents full of cars that are going to get auctioned today. This right here, we're going to start with just going down the line and seeing what we have here. So first thing we should do is just kind of look at this. So this is a cutout car. By the way, all these cars here were built to NASCAR Winston series specifications, They may not hold some of them do not have the same paint scheme they had on when they were racing, but we'll look at each car and I'll tell you the history of each car. So right here, so this is a Winston Cup cutout car, and I know they used cars like this back before we had a whole lot of graphics on television. So this is a 2001 Chevy Monte Carlo. It was a RCR, Richard Childress Racing car, and Kevin Harvick Good Wrench 29 is how it's painted. So this is chassis number 8,798, and so this kind of shows you, for anybody who wants to see what an actual NASCAR looks like underneath the body. So you have your fuel cell here, you have your female fuel receptor here that takes that whole bucket and goes right through real quick. This is also a fuel overflow vent. You've got your roll cage. You notice there's no keys on this. It's just a big on-off switch. This is back the older cars that had an actual 4-speed, and they had reverse and 1, 2, 3, 4, just like a lot of the other cars did back in the day. Obviously, this was before in 2001, before they were computerizing the dashboards on this, or the different instruments. Had a fast remove, quick remove steering column. There's your seat right there. And then you have an RCR racing engine right here. And we can go look at that real close. Electric fans, headers. There's your brake system right there. Air cleaners right there. And then of course, if you look at it from the outside, this is what it looks like right here. This is going to be your ignition, because you always have a dual so they could switch over if one goes bad. Fire suppression right there. This is air coming in, airflow. So this is what we're looking at when we look at a lot of these cars. All right, so this one here, 2002 Chevy Monte Carlo, used as a track car for special events during the 2002 series. So let's see, RJR Winston Championship, was used as a track car for special events at Charlotte Motor Speedway. That's why it's got the lights on it. 20 Tony Stewart, huh? There you go. 2002 NASCAR Winston Cup champion Tony Stewart. So that's the Monte Carlo. So this one, actually, I have a signed 1/18th scale metal one of these at the house. Jimmy Spence. So 93 Ford Thunderbird. This is as raced, driven by Jimmy Spencer in 1993. It's preserved in original as race condition with the silver super speedway car, Smokin' Joe Camel, driven by Jimmy Spencer. It has the last engine built at Junior Johnson's shop. So it's lawful in chassis number 999. So here's, you know, back in the day when you could have the Camel for cigarettes and stuff, they got rid of it, you know, because it was basically going to kids or whatever. But this is the 23 car Camel and Zippo lighters. So Smokin' Joe's Racing Winston Cup car number 23. You can look in there. Gray inside, yellow outside. There's all your sponsor stickers that had to go on it. And that's a Ford Thunderbird. A lot of these cars in here are not Ford. Most of them here are Chevrolet or GM, but that's a Ford, and that's a Jimmy Spencer car right there. So next one is the No Bull car here. Let's check this one out. 97 Ford, another Thunderbird. This is as raced, another Jimmy Spencer car. This is the 1997. RJR Winston branding number 23. Introduced to Winston sponsorship in Atlanta in 1997 for the 98 season with Jimmy Spencer as a driver, Travis Carter as the team owner. It's Laughlin chassis 1800. So it does not have an engine in it currently, which is why it sits a little high in the front. So again, this is the number 23 Winston car. And this one, if you notice, has the windows up here as well. So that has the block with the vents. All right, another Thunderbird right here. Let's look at this one. This is an 86 Ford Thunderbird. It's the show car from the series from 84 to 89. And it was used at, it was a former Junior Johnson race team car. And then it was made for as a show car, 86 Ford Thunderbird. You can see how it has like a wider fender. It looks a little different. It's not as aerodynamic. If you look down there, you can see it's a little higher. It's not as aerodynamic as later cars. The interior looks a little different in here. So there's its ignition system. And again, I don't believe this one has an engine in it because it's sitting pretty high up. Now that one, if you notice, that one almost looks like it's built off of an actual Thunderbird, because this was in the transition period when they would actually start with a Thunderbird, turn it into a race car instead of some of these which are just shells. All right, so now the interstate battery car, Bobby Labante's 1996 Chevy Monte Carlo, previously driven by Bobby Labonte. It's in original as race condition, driven by Bobby Labonte for Joe Gibbs. This car drove in Birmingham, England at the NEC Auto Show and the Goodwood Festival of Speed. It's a JGR chassis, 18 degree Chevy 350 CI V8 engine. So if you look at this one, it's kind of a little different. So you can see a different manufacturer. It is signed right here. So, and then you have down here the whole interior of this one. And like I said, if you look at these seats, I'm a big guy. Most of your drivers are not big guys. So Bobby Labonte, there's the old style dash where you could put the instruments wherever it was comfortable for the driver. The quick release steering wheel, 4-speed, obviously. You have some aerodynamic panels that are on this. Fire and Ice motor oil, Shell, interstate batteries, Champion spark plugs, all the vents coming out. It's got this window on it. So Joe Carver, we will miss you, Joe, January 2013. NFL even had a little sticker on it there. So there you go. All right, the next McDonald's car, the 1994 McDonald's car. Now, if you guys might notice, if there's a small 1/64 scale that came, I believe, because I have one, and I think it came in the Happy Meal when this car was racing. I think McDonald's put it on there. No reserve on this one. 1994 Ford Thunderbird NASCAR as race condition by Bill Elliott. So last race by Bill Elliott in Richmond, Virginia, night race in 96. Elliott finished 14th in this car. It does have a 351 engine on it. Chassis is BER 05/94WC. So this is one of Bill Elliott's cars, and it's going with no reserve. You might win it for $1. Nobody else bids against you. Probably won't, but you know, you never know. Has oil pressure there. All the vents here. Again, look at this seat. Bill Elliott's a small guy. You got most of your race drivers are smaller. They're going to sit in there. So it's going to be a tight seat. You have the old instrumentation in there. Shifter knob's missing, but shifter's there. Steering column there. Steering wheel's there. It's got some bangs and bruises from the race, which is very cool. They didn't redo it. They just left the bangs and bruises. Reese Peanut Butter Cup. And the McDonald's Bosch. And as I said, look, you get some tire marks on here, some tire scrapes. More tire scrapes, more tire scrapes. So if you're a collector, this would be a great piece to bid on. Or if you just want to bid your first time and see if you win, maybe you win it. If not, you'll get the experience of bidding on a NASCAR car. But very cool. And it is as was from the race. All right, we're gonna head down to the other side of the Superbird, and we'll start down there, and then we're gonna come right up here to the front. All right, so we've been to RCR's museum where all Dale Earnhardt's cars that he has are there. We've also been to Junior's museum. If you haven't seen those videos, go back. We also even went into Dale Earnhardt's transporter, and we did a tour of that. So I could put in the notes where, or maybe below here, if you want to go see those. But here's one of the cars, the Monte Carlo, number 3442580. And this is a 1995 Chevy Monte Carlo NASCAR, as race conditioned. This was campaigned and raced by Dale Earnhardt from 1995 to 96. Now, the estimated value on this car is $350,000 to $450,000. This is as raced. It became a show car in 97, but it was driven at the Goodwood Festival of Speed in 2018 by Kerry Earnhardt, and again in 2023 by Jamie France. It is RCR chassis 018 banjo, or I'm sorry, it's a Banjo Matthews chassis RCR 018. This actually has a VIN, so which is kind of cool. All right, 50th anniversary of NASCAR. There's Dale Earnhardt. See, Dale was a bigger guy, so if you notice some of the other seats, they're a lot tighter. So, and this was also before all the head and neck braces and safety gear, which unfortunately, due to Dale's death, is what really caused everybody to start wearing all the more safety equipment. But he was a bigger guy, so there you go right here. Here's a title. Let's look at this title, RCR, right here. RCR Richmond, Martinsville, Phoenix, and Wilkesboro. So 1994, 94, 94. So this is a racing history right here of it. I'm gonna put that back up here so it doesn't get wet. It was on the floor, but you can see again, old school, had his gauges the way he wanted them. Steering column, it's got a nice soft center there, but that wasn't gonna really do anything. He's got a stick shifter. He's got both his coils right over there. This, I believe, right there is a battery right next to him. And the seat is a lot bigger. It's also lower. And the reason that Dale Earnhardt put his lower is so when they were on the banks, he could actually see more people what's in front of him. Because the A-pillar right here, this A-pillar, wouldn't be in his way when you bank and you're at an angle. And he explained that, well, one of his crew explained that on Dale Jr.'s podcast. So yeah, it's the Black Hat Good Wrench Plus, which was Chevy GM Performance Parts back in the day. So really nice, Burger King, but this, and Food City, but really this was Good Wrench Plus, and this was the 3 car. This is the black car, the Intimidator's car, Dale Earnhardt real car. Here's the flaps right here. You got flaps. You've got the window right here that will come with it. That will go here. So really, really nice piece. If you have a $500,000 sitting around, this might be the car you want to get. All right, let's go down here. Okay guys, all right, so we're now at the Western Auto, which used to be a parts place, kind of like Western Auto was really big similar to O'Reilly's at the time back in the day. And so this is the Western Autos car, number 17. John Hamm signed that, don't know why. But this was Darrell Waltrip's 1995 and 1996 car. It's in its original as race condition road course car built by DAR WAL Inc., which is Darrell Waltrip's racing team, and its chassis number DRW016. Again, Darrell Waltrip, number 17, Craftsman Western Auto. This is his seat. It's a little bigger than some of the other ones, down wider down the bottom. Much bigger steering wheel. Notice the steering wheel is a lot lower. Different shifter. Now, if you notice, his gauge package is a lot different than other people's package, even though it's still an analog package. And he put over there is where he's looking at RPMs instead of in front like everybody else. So you just have a very distinctive type of setup for each driver. They put the instruments where they wanted to put the instruments. So now this one, and I'm wondering if this was a road course car. Let me see something here. So he has a fuel door here that's closed up. Now typically when you're racing NASCAR, you're going to have the fuel door on the driver's side, because when you pit, that's where it is. I think this must have been a road race car, because they have the fuel over here. And for a lot of road races, they put the fuel, they have the fuel on the opposite side because of the way the road course is. So, and this also had this here. I don't see a glass here. It's got some different air intakes, but because of the fuel, the female fuel receptor being on this car, this had to be a road race car right here. Very cool. Here's a number 24 car, Monte Carlo, Rainbow Warrior, which was Jeff Gordon. Let's see. This is 1998 Chevy Monte Carlo NASCAR photo display car. So this is a photo display car. It was used for photos for Jeff Gordon. It was not raced, but it was used for photos. That's probably why it's in such great condition and every panel is straight and there's no scrapes or anything in it. So it's a photo. I mean, it's obviously still a NASCAR built car. It just was used for photos. Maybe give people rides around, I'm not sure on that, but it wasn't raced on during a race. All right, we got an M&M's car, and this is the Pontiac M&M's Grand Prix. I actually may have pictures of this car. Nope, the 36. I actually have pictures of one of these from the year 2000, from when I was in Daytona. Let's see, Kenny Schrader's car. This is a no reserve car. This was also a display car, currently finished with Ken Schrader. It was previously a Bahari Racing number 30 Pennzoil car, supposedly. They're not sure. So this one too does not have a known racing history. However, it's built to spec, and for Kenny Schrader for the M&Ms back before Kyle Busch was the Candyman. But no reserve on this one. That'd be a nice piece to have in your you know, in your man cave there. All right, so Dale Jarrett sign, seal, and livery UPS car. This is a Toyota. Let's see, is it a real race car? Raced by Dale Jarrett in the 2008 All-Star race in Charlotte. So yes, this is as race condition. Dale Jarrett raced the car. He had this special paint scheme in 2008 before he retired. It's a COT car with the wing, and it was built by Michael Waltrip Racing. It's chassis number 545. It does not have an engine or drivetrain in it, but as you can see, it has different safety equipment. Again, it's got a whole different dashboard. Everybody he likes is in 2 rows. Low steering wheel. Now Dale's a big guy, so I could fit into this seat. So this is a big racing seat compared to some of the much smaller ones. Some reinforcement in there. You can see the electronics for lightning rollers over there. Dale Jarrett. You can see a picture of Dale right here in the UPS, so nice cool scheme right there. If you looked at it, you probably couldn't have seen any of this watching it from, you know, on the track. This was, I guess, his last one. Thanks, Dale. It's been a great ride, UPS. And they have a lot of the shadow in here, so that's cool. Very cool. By the way, you can definitely see here they actually put the decals on of lights. So for those of you who always go, how come they don't turn the lights on? That's why, because they're decals. But very nice car. Sweet, sweet car. No engine in it, but you know, that may be a plus if you're trying to buy it. Let's see. So now there's a Course Thunderbird. Let's see, which one is this? So this is a 96 Ford Thunderbird used for the NASCAR 75th anniversary commercial. All right, so this is not a race car. It was used in the 75th anniversary commercial filmed in Los Angeles. It's finished as Bill Elliott's Course car, the number 9 car. So it does have a 2.3 liter engine in it, and it's actually just a Thunderbird that was dressed up for the commercial. So this one you might be able to drive to car shows or drive around your neighborhood, even though it has no lights or anything. But very cool Course. So Bill Elliott car. As you see, there's no roll cage or anything in it. I think they just probably just, oh, it's already sold. Look at that, Mecum sold. So this one's already sold. Very cool though. All right, the DeWalt car. Let's go check this one out. This is a Ford Taurus, Roush Racing. Take a look at here. 2003 Ford Taurus from NASCAR, victory lap car, built to celebrate Matt Kenseth's 2003 NASCAR championship. So this was the ending of his 33-year run with RJR, and driven in Miami by Jack Roush for the final Winston Cup champion lap. So it's a race chassis, 0244, no engine or drivetrain in this one. You can see it's got the Hans device and everything in this one, which did not appear in some of the earlier cars, obviously. And here's his tachometer over here, instrumentation's there. So much smaller seat, so they don't move around. Matt Kenseth is not as big a guy as some of the other ones here, but very cool. And actually, I'll tell you what, that's for Jack Roush. What am I saying? It's not Matt Kenseth that drove this. Jack Roush drove this. So that's how big Jack Roush is. He's not as big a tall guy, I guess, because he fit in that seat. Very cool car. And then here, Budweiser number 11 King of Beers car. This one is a earlier, like 85, 84. Let's see. Monte Carlo. 86 Chevy Monte Carlo SS Aero Coupe car, built by Junior Johnson, driven by Darrell Waltrip and Terry Labonte. So this was driven during the 1986 season by Darrell Waltrip. It finished second in the Winston Cup standings with 3 wins, and then it was driven in 87 and 88 by Terry Labonte, finishing 3rd and 4th in the Winston Cup standings. This car is estimated to be worth $150,000 to $175,000. It does have an engine in it, the 358 700 horsepower dry sump Chevy overhead valve V8. So this is the car that you saw with KFC and Budweiser, and we've got a small, tiny, skinny seat, so he's a small guy. You even have, you can see here, like some of the stuff that's just torn apart off of the roll cage because of pulling the window, climbing in, climbing out, all that kind of stuff. So you have a gauge cluster, very basic gauge cluster. So shifter. This is the aero part, and actually back in the day Chevy had to come out with, normally the Monte Carlos would end there, but Monte Carlo had to build, I believe it was 2,500 aero coupes, and you could still find them for sale, the regular aero coupes, in order for people to drive, in order for them to race it. So you had Budweiser with Kentucky Fried Chicken. Actually sounds pretty good to me. Stacy's Paint and Body in North Carolina. So Stacy's Paint and Body in Bessemer City, North Carolina, did the paint and body on this one. So nice Budweiser, all the Luann. So this actually has a glass windshield with a crack in it. Excuse me. A lot of the windshields back in the day were glass, and that was glass. So there you go. Very, very cool. And then we have helmets here. So that was the first group. So let's end this video right now. We just did all these all the way back. And then we'll do another video here real quick, which will cover these up in the front row. And look, the rain has stopped. All right, we'll see you in the next video where we do part 2 of the NASCAR Winston Cup Series cars going to auction here. They are all from the Winston Cup Museum. So stay tuned, come right back, and we'll continue on. Should they subscribe to this channel even if they don't like cars today for this one?
Probably just for this one.